Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Amster Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today I'm here with Krista Duffy with Sign Language Instruction with Krista.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for coming out. And so let's start. Tell me a little about yourself and kind of where this all began.
Well, I first started learning sign language in 8th grade from a deaf interpreter who actually taught sign language to a deaf child in my class, and I just fell in love with it. So when it came time to picking a major, I picked sign language, and I've been teaching it ever since. So it's such a beautiful language, and, to be able to bridge the gap between hearing people and deaf people and teach people of all ages, I feel very fortunate to be able to do what I do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you said you picked it as a major when you were in college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a major, but that's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, I went to UNH in Manchester, and I majored in sign language, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of at what point, I guess, was there a point when you you learned sign language when you were younger, and then you just decided, I want to do this for work. I want to help people learn this.
Well, I guess really it started by both my grandmother and great-grandmother were both deaf, so that I always wanted to know how to better communicate with them. So when I took that path in college, it just fell into place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there's nothing like teaching someone their first sign,
Yeah.
where their face just lights up and they're going, wow, I'm actually signing here. I'm actually doing something I never thought I could do.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, that's what makes it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So I know normal languages can be a little tricky to learn.
Mm-hmm.
How was sign language compared to, say, learning English or Spanish or some of those other things?
When I learned it, or just in general?
I guess just in general, because maybe when you learned it and then some of your students, how well do they take to it? Like, is there a big difference?
Well, it's very visual as opposed to Spanish or French, where it's very auditory.
Mm-hmm.
So for sign language, for me, I took to it because I'm a very visual learner. So it's just a matter of, for example, if you're learning the sign for beautiful, it all comes from facial expressions and hand gestures and use of space, as opposed to French, Spanish, and Italian, where it's just more verbal. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you know much of the history of sign language? Like, how long has sign language been around or any of that stuff?
Yes. It's when I was in college, I learned that it's largely based on British Sign Language, and Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet, he actually brought it over to formulate Gallaudet University, which is the first university for the deaf in America. So.
All right, cool. So when you mentioned that there was sign language from, we said Britain or England, essentially?
There's all different kinds of sign languages. There's French Sign Language, British Sign Language, American Sign Language.
Okay. Is it generally just kind of what you do with your hands that makes a difference? Because I'm assuming there's no accents. I know it sounds stupid, but
there's no accents in terms of verbal, but there's such a thing as, well, first of all, for any newcomer to sign language, facial expressions, meaning how your face looks, and hand positions, meaning the actual signs that you're creating, and use of space, they make all the signs, they make the meaning of the sign.
Yeah.
And without facial expression and positions, your signs really don't have any meaning. So what I mean by that is, when I'm always explaining this to a student, I say, okay, there's a huge difference between, hi, my name is Krista, like, as opposed to, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really just the affect, the feeling behind your signs, which in essence is facial expressions and, hand gestures, like that.
Great. I like that because just from what I've learned in my years in the military and all this stuff,
Sure.
Language is more than just speaking. So it's kind of cool to when you get into sign language where you're literally not speaking and you're doing everything else. So your facial expressions, your body posture, all that stuff has more to do with language than what you speak. And so I think that's pretty cool.
And it was really interesting when I went to my first deaf event, and I walked in and no one was speaking.
Yeah.
And all I saw was, and when I went to school, all my professors were completely deaf.
Yeah.
So I spent 3 hours twice a week completely relying on my other senses rather than my vocal cords to, So in essence, what really happened was I would spend 3 hours in complete immersion of sign language.
Yeah.
And it was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Because I know vocal language is that way too.
Right.
The best way to learn is to be completely immersed in it.
Of course.
If you're speaking Spanish, everyone around you should theoretically be speaking Spanish. It just makes it a little easier. Mm-hmm. So sign language is, I'm assuming what you said, pretty similar.
Yeah. And it's great to immerse yourself in the language. That's why I would encourage everyone to, if you have the opportunity, to visit Gallaudet University.
Yeah.
So that you can actually have the opportunity to immerse yourself completely in the language, especially with native speakers or native people who are in the deaf community. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So where is Gallaudet University? I think you might have said it, but I might have missed it.
I believe Gallaudet University is in Vermont, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
If people are interested in finding out more, they can definitely they can look it up, Gallaudet University online, and it should give you all the details.
Yeah.
So. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should be a pretty easy place to find.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, is it particularly hard language to learn?
Honestly, in my sessions, I always try to make it easy for people right off the bat. So, for example, yesterday I worked with a student, and I always like to leave my students with at least 1 or 2 sentences right off the bat so that they already know, wow, I'm signing. I can do this. Mm-hmm. So the simplest sentences that I like to teach right off the bat are, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, and my name is. Just so people, they gain the confidence right going off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you bring on students, is it a lot of times because it's a need of theirs, either they're deaf or they have someone that is, or is it a lot of times just interest?
A lot of people come and they want to learn sign language for a variety of different ways. Like you said, some people are newbies and they just want to learn for the fun of it. Some people have deaf family members or deaf friends that they want to better communicate with. It really is all based on their own individual needs. Yeah. And my goal as a teacher is to help them reach their goals no matter what they are. Because I love teaching people this language to help bridge the gap between their family members, between their friends, between people who want to become interpreters, and they're learning sign language for the very first time to help reach their goals. Yeah.
Because my wife, we were actually talking about this yesterday. When my son was born, we didn't realize he couldn't hear for the first 2 years of his life. Really? Because it stemmed from ear infections that had just blocked his ears, so he was deaf for the first 2 years, and no one noticed.
Wow.
So I don't know how we didn't notice, but it happened. Whatever. And even to this day, he can hear now, but his speech is a little off because it affected him so early. So we were like, we should probably learn sign language just to make it a little easier in times where he's struggling with his speech.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, oh, great, I'm talking to Krista tomorrow anyway. This will be a fun conversation.
Yes. And there is such a thing as baby sign language.
Yeah.
Which I'm certified to do that too. And one of the things that I encourage parents to do is learn sign language so that you can better communicate with your children, but also, they can learn from the time they're newborns.
Yeah.
So, there's nothing like seeing a child sign milk for the first time, or mommy or daddy for the first time,
yeah.
Or even I love you. It's beautiful. So, yeah.
That's actually really interesting. So you said they can learn from when they're essentially born.
Absolutely.
So I guess would that make it easier for even communicating them when they haven't fully learned how to speak yet? Kind of does that bridge that a little bit?
It absolutely does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm working with I'm working with a daughter and her stepfather right now, and when I worked with her the other day, it was actually the first time that she understood me completely. She was engaged. She, and it helped them better communicate. And not only that, but it helps the connection between father and son, or father and mother, and father and daughter, just beautifully. Yeah.
That is something. Well, I guess I kind of knew about baby sign language, but
Yeah.
I just never would have thought to actually teach it to someone so young, as far as a newborn.
And, I think people have this misunderstanding that sign language is solely for the deaf community. That's part of it,
Yeah.
but there's also something called, like I said, baby sign language and people in the hearing community. So whether you're new to sign language, whether you're, a parent wanting to teach their child sign language for the first time, or if you're just interested in learning the language, I would strongly recommend it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
So.
And you're right, because I could definitely see situations where maybe it wouldn't be too polite to speak at the moment.
Right.
But you could sign and just quickly relay a message, or
Of
if your
course.
kid's across the room and not behaving, and you don't want to feel like screaming at them,
Right.
send a message over, and they'll be like, "Oh, maybe I should stop that."
Or please stop.
Yeah.
Or, please for me, open the window, or, eat, please. Like,
Yeah.
things like that.
That's really cool. Yeah, because it'd be way more practical than, again, in any situation where you can't yell, the baby's sleeping, or maybe there's something going on where there's a lot of noise. But sounds pretty cool.
And honestly, it makes communicating easier, especially at that young age, because especially, newborns, or, children that are 6 or 9 months old, they don't feel like they have a voice yet. You know what I mean? Like they can't, they can't actually formulate the words. So baby sign language helps them communicate faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to do a quick break here for the sponsors, and then when we come back in, do you mind going over some of the very, very basic stuff?
Of course.
Awesome. So we will do like a very brief lesson here, and we'll go from there. So everyone hold on tight for 1 minute. Snow's just about done, which means the grass is about to start growing. So you landscapers out there who want to start quoting clients, come over to nhbusinessshow.com/project quoting to check out our amazing quoting system that we got signed up for you guys. 14-day free trial. Check it out. It makes it so easy to quote clients, and you can even see a map of their property that you can just sketch out on the system. It'll give you a pretty good square footage of the property. So check it out. It's super easy to use. It's a fantastic system. It links right into QuickBooks, which makes integration super easy. You can do most of the paperwork without the administration and save yourself some money. So instead of hiring people to do all of that other stuff, like, we can set up to do it for you for super cheap every month. So nhbusinessshow.com/project quoting and get started on your 14-day free trial today. When you learn sign language, where do you typically start?
I always like to start at the basics, like, the alphabet, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. That way, and once you have that down, you can start fingerspelling your name. And then simple sentences like, hello, my name is, in your instance, hello, my name is Chris. So it will be, hello, my name is Chris. C, H, R, I, S. And of course you have colors like blue, green, yellow, brown, red. Am I going too fast?
Well, I'm not going to learn right away, but like, I mean, it's good. Don't worry.
Yeah, okay. So you have orange and white.
Yeah.
And then, of course, one of my favorite signs is rainbow.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, signs like that, and of course, animal signs like animal, cat, dog, yeah, things of that nature.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we were talking about babies, and I like this because I have a under 1-year-old at the house.
Oh, beautiful.
So, like, dealing with them, what type of things do you typically teach them? Because I know my wife used to teach, I don't know if it's the actual signal, but she used to teach them, like, food.
Yes.
And some things like that.
Food, drink, the sign for milk, more.
Yeah.
Juice, which is the J hand-shaped to your lip, like that.
Oh.
And, of course, with juice, you, of course, have orange juice. And, of course, with little kids, there's always a sign for cookie, which is the hand that you write with, the dominant hand, the C hand shape. Like, you're turning a cookie on a plate.
Okay.
And then banana, like you're peeling it. Yeah. And then, of course, cereal, which is the hand that you write with, the dominant hand. Like you're wiping cereal off your chin. It's the best way I can explain it, but yeah, things like that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, you probably wouldn't know, but just where do some of these movements come from? Is it just practiced over time? They learn that way, or
a lot of these signs? I mean, especially from what I learned, a lot of these signs are not necessarily baby sign language, but American Sign Language are decided upon within the deaf community, and then they're shared. So, but I think baby sign language is derived from that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. 'Cause, I mean, they probably do it in a way that it's practical. The movement probably makes some sort of sense.
Exactly.
And then, because a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. So.
And also, if you think about it, because it's such a very visual language,
Yeah.
it's always great to connect an image with the sign. So going back to the sign for cereal, if you look at it, it kind of looks like you're wiping cereal off your chin.
Yeah.
Or like I said, the sign for milk, it kind of looks like you're milking a cow.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can keep it simple, and be able to connect an image to the sign, it's so much helpful. It's so much better. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's too funny. Cool. So we know some of the little basics now.
Yeah.
What just I guess without my help because I don't know how to do it. What was a conversation in sign language actually kind of look like?
Well, you'd use facial expressions. You'd use use of sign. So let's start off with a simple sign like if you're meeting someone for the first time, you could say, "Hi, my name is Chris. Nice to meet you. Where are you from?" Which would be you from where? And of course you would say, "I'm from New Hampshire." And it will go on and on like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That does have a really cool look to it when it's flowing and probably very interesting to watch, especially two people talking back and forth.
What's interesting when you go to deaf events is if you look at a conversation between two people signing, it's actually very fluid. It's very natural. It's very, and you have people either depending on what they're comfortable with, signing with both hands, signing with one hand, lying back, relaxed, or just like, very engaged either way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you kind of have to be.
You do. You do. Yeah. And there are different ways to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And like, turning the lights off and on, or, saying, who is that? And if you, I mean, it's amazing what you see. It's good. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Awesome. So if some people want to reach out, get a hold of you, take some lessons, like how do they get a hold of you?
They can simply reach me through Facebook at Sign Language Instruction with Krista. Yeah. Mm-hmm. At Facebook. Yep.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, was such a pleasure to meet with you today. This was fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. I know we knew each other back in school, so
yeah.
When I saw you were running a business, I was like, perfect. I like having friends on.
It all came full circle. So, yeah.
Okay, so thank you all so much for watching. We're going to have a quick word from our sponsors, and then we're going to roll on to our next interview. So I will see you all next time.